Imagine sitting down to enjoy a quiet evening at home, when out of nowhere, a deafening crash shakes your entire world. Sabrina and Marcus were doing just that, relaxing with their dogs, when suddenly, the walls around them came crashing down. In the blink of an eye, their peaceful night turned into a scene straight out of a nightmare. What was that terrifying sound? And how did their lives change forever in an instant? You won't believe what happened next. Stick around to see how this shocking story unfolds. But, hey, before we dive into the story, do yourself a favor and pause the video right now. Go hit that like button and let's see if we can make this video reach 1,000 likes. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to your favorite story channel. Also, make sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest and weirdest stories. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming your way. Now, sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed as we take you on an unforgettable ride. Don't forget to engage with us in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Sabrina Rivera was fixing her couch and adjusting the window blinds, settling in for what seemed like a regular evening at home. Her partner, Marcus Holmberg, had just walked in from the kitchen, a fork in hand, ready to shoo their 3 dogs away from the dinner table to keep them from snatching the food. It was a scene of everyday life, the comfortable rhythm of a quiet evening in their cozy home in Phoenix, Arizona. But in a matter of seconds, that peace was shattered. Out of nowhere, an earth-shattering sound filled the air, a massive crash that seemed to shake the ground beneath their feet. Sabrina barely had time to process the noise before the living room was suddenly engulfed in dust and debris. Plaster crumbled from the walls, glass shattered, and the once serene space was unrecognizable. Amidst the chaos, the outline of a vehicle, of all things, emerged through the haze of destruction. Incredibly, the entire event was captured by their home security cameras. The CCTV footage later revealed a truly shocking sight. A Ford Mustang had crashed through the walls of their house, its headlights piercing through the dust, like something out of a nightmare. The car was in the middle of their home, having rammed straight through a wall that had once been a solid barrier between their lives and the world outside. In the footage, Marcus could be seen scrambling to his feet, momentarily dazed, but moving. Sabrina, however, and their 3 beloved dogs were nowhere to be seen in the immediate aftermath. It was as though they had vanished in the wreckage. Marcus could hardly believe what had just happened. One moment, they had been enjoying a quiet dinner together, and the next, their world had literally come crashing down around them. As the dust began to settle, Sabrina emerged from the wreckage, shaken, but alive. Miraculously, she and Marcus had only suffered minor injuries, cuts and bruises from the flying debris and the impact. Their dogs, too, had somehow survived the crash. A 4th dog, who had thankfully been outside during the incident, was unharmed as well. Later, as they stood outside surveying the damage, the gravity of the situation began to sink in. The driver of the car, an 18-year-old behind the wheel of a Ford Mustang, had apparently been attempting to perform dangerous stunts, donuts in the middle of the street, when he lost control and careened straight into their home. The reckless joyride had turned into a disaster, not only for the driver, but for Sabrina and Marcus, who were now left with a home in ruins. My lady and I were just enjoying dinner on Friday night when a reckless driver, an 18-year-old in a 5.0 Mustang, drove straight through our house because he failed at doing donuts in the street, Marcus later wrote in a heartfelt post on GoFundMe, a crowdfunding page he had set up to help them rebuild their lives. He titled the page simply, "My Family and Fur Babies Need a Home." The post quickly gained attention, with friends, family, and even strangers horrified by the couple's story. Sabrina and Marcus had not only lost their sense of security, but their home itself had been severely compromised. The impact of the crash had moved the very foundation of their house. Walls were destroyed, floors were cracked, and the damage was extensive. Repairs, Marcus estimated, could run up to $30,000, money they simply didn't have. Adding to the stress, the couple's insurance company was already giving them trouble, making it clear that the fight to get their home and Marcus's damaged truck repaired would be long and complicated. "We're just trying to survive," Marcus wrote on the GoFundMe page. "We're asking for the bare minimum to get our home fixed and my truck repaired. Insurance is going to fight us left and right. They may not even pay for us to have a place to stay. So we're reaching out to friends, family, and the community for help." Despite the traumatic ordeal, Sabrina and Marcus tried to maintain a sense of humor about the bizarre and frightening event. As Marcus recounted later, the young driver had apparently been so focused on showing off, he lost all control of his car, with devastating consequences. The kid didn't just mess up doing donuts, Marcus joked grimly to a local news station. "He totaled my house." The young driver, whose name was not immediately released, was arrested at the scene on suspicion of driving under the influence. The Phoenix Police Department confirmed that alcohol or drugs were likely a factor in the crash, and the driver would face serious charges as a result. While the legal wheels began to turn, Sabrina and Marcus were left picking up the pieces of their lives, quite literally. The couple's priority, in the immediate aftermath of the crash, was ensuring the safety and well-being of their pets. Although their 4 dogs appeared to have survived the incident without any obvious injuries, Sabrina and Marcus wanted to get them checked out by a vet as soon as possible. No injuries were found, but definitely a vet visit will be in play when we have funds to cover it, Sabrina explained to a reporter from Storyful. Their pets had always been a central part of their lives, and the thought of losing them in such a horrific accident was almost too much to bear. As they sifted through the wreckage of their home, they were immensely grateful that all 4 dogs had made it through the crash unscathed. But gratitude alone wouldn't rebuild their lives. As the days passed, Sabrina and Marcus realized just how overwhelming the path ahead would be. Their home was unlivable, with gaping holes in the walls and structural damage that would require extensive repairs. They were forced to temporarily relocate to a hotel, with no clear timeline for when, or if, they would be able to return to their house. The emotional toll of the event began to weigh heavily on them. Every day was a reminder of what had been lost, the sense of safety and stability that had once defined their home. "It's like we're living in a nightmare," Sabrina said quietly one evening, her eyes scanning the damage that had become their new reality. "We're trying to stay strong, but it's hard." As word of their story spread, the community began to rally around them. Donations started pouring in on their GoFundMe page, and within days, they had raised over $8,500. It was a heartwarming show of support, but they still had a long way to go to cover the cost of repairs and other expenses. Meanwhile, the legal proceedings against the 18-year-old driver moved forward. The reckless driver, who had been caught performing dangerous stunts that endangered not only his life but the lives of innocent people, was facing severe consequences for his actions. The police made it clear that they would be pursuing charges related to driving under the influence, and the young man would likely spend time behind bars. For Sabrina and Marcus, however, the legal case offered little comfort. Their lives had been upended in a matter of seconds, and while the driver would face justice, they were left with the daunting task of rebuilding from the ground up. Despite the overwhelming challenges they faced, Sabrina and Marcus remained determined. Their focus shifted from the devastation to the future, knowing that with time, hard work, and the support of their community, they could rebuild. Their dogs, a source of constant comfort, remained by their sides, wagging their tails and offering a sense of normalcy amidst the chaos. "This isn't the end of our story," Marcus said one evening, his arm wrapped around Sabrina as they sat together, surveying what was left of their home. "It's just a chapter. A hard one, but not the last one." In the months that followed, the couple slowly began the process of repairing their home and their lives. Friends and family pitched in wherever they could, and the funds from the GoFundMe page continued to grow. Marcus, ever the optimist, began to dream about how they could make the house even better than it had been before. "Maybe we'll finally build that deck we've been talking about," he said with a smile. As they stood together, gazing at the place where their lives had almost been taken from them, Sabrina nodded. "Yeah," she said softly. "We'll make it better. We'll make it ours again." And so Sabrina and Marcus, along with their beloved dogs, began the long journey of turning their house back into a home. One brick, one nail, and one moment of hope at a time.